Yo, what's poppin' everybody? It's Thug Wizard here, and today I'm going to show you the very basics of the Friday Night Funkin' / Phantom Arcade art style. Now, I've actually decided to make this a series because there's no way in hell I'm going through everything in one video, because there's so many things that go into this art style. You know, it will never fit in a one-part video. So in this part today, we're just going to be going through the very basics, like what you should know before you really start going into this. So the first thing I'm going to cover is what makes this style the Phantom Arcade style or the Friday Night Funkin' style. What stands out? And that really just comes down to three main things. Now, the three main elements that really stand out to me of this art style is first, the simplicity. And what I mean by that is, like, it's obviously really simple, like the flat colors with the hard shading. It's not overly detailed, but that doesn't mean it's under detailed. It has some detail, but just enough so you can understand what it is. And the second thing would have to be the stylized anatomy, or just a stylization in general. Now, a good example of this is Daddy Dearest. You can see how his forearm kind of looks like really fucking big when you get to the end of his arm, or how Mommy Mira's arm kind of looks like it's fucking broken. If you look at the character designs, you kind of start to believe,
wait a minute, that doesn't make sense.
And these weird things like sharp shoulders and elbows that doesn't exactly make logical sense, that's just called stylization. And if used correctly, it can make your drawing look really interesting and really charming. And the last thing that arguably stands out the very most to me is the way Phantom Arcade draws facial expressions. Dog, I could go on and on forever on how much I love how he draws faces. They can look so funny and then so charming. It's honestly the reason I fell in love with this art style in the first place. But now that we've talked about what makes the style the Phantom Arcade style, now let's go through the process of making a drawing. So obviously, the first thing you want to do when drawing your art piece is a sketch. You sketch out your piece to get the placement of your characters and what you want in the background in a very easy way without having to worry about the cleanness. And then you trace over your sketch lines with a very clean liner and then color everything. If you're trying to do this art style, something I wouldn't recommend while doing the sketch is using this stickman method. This awful stick figure sketching, it honestly just takes all personality out of your drawing. It makes everything look stiff. Plus, it just adds another step on top of just doing a normal sketch, and then you have this ugly ass jumble of a bunch of sketch lines and you have no idea where to even put your line art. Now, what you should do instead is just draw a really rough line art. Like, it's as simple as that. You just pretty much doodle out your thing. You don't have to worry about it being super clean. Just like sketch it out, chicken scratch it. Eventually your drawing will come together. It looks really sketchy, but it's in a way that's digestible. And also, when you use this method instead of the stickman method, then it's so easy to stylize your art and make it look so much more interesting, because it's like not tied to this certain skeleton. Like, you could just have the creative freedom to draw it however you want. Now, once again, after you've done your sketch, all you do is trace over it with a really clean liner and then color it in, and you're done. Hell, if this is intimidating for you, then you could do a sketch of your sketch. It really just comes down to the complexity of your art piece. Now, there's more factors that come into play here, like what kind of brush you're using. Phantom Arcade usually uses a brush that's just a really clean line with a lot of pressure sensitivity, but it definitely doesn't mean it's limited to that. Like, take this piece for example. In this piece, he's using a really rough textured pencil-like brush. Or again, this one isn't just a clean line, like, it has texture on it. Alright though, but today we're not actually going to be doing any draw along or anything like that. I just wanted to put the basics down on the table so when we actually get into those draw alongs, you have kind of a better idea what you're going for and what your end goal is. But yeah, that was part 1 to the series. Just honestly the basics and you know what we're going for here. If you want part 2, you gotta smack that like button in the face. This was my first tutorial or voiceover thing that I've ever done, so it was actually pretty fun and I hope to do more in the future. Alright though, but I'm signing off with this one. Again, thank you guys for 10,000 subscribers. That shit's crazy. I never even imagined that. Like, I can't even say anything about it that hasn't already been said, you know? But I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 and I'll see you guys later.
Come on, get down.